Hey everybody, TJ Gersh, Vice Chair, Rail Passengers Association. This isn't the video I planned to make today, but it's one that I need to make, and it starts with an apology. Recently I released a statement and a video in which I endorsed Meredith Richards for chair, which I still firmly do. But in that video, I said that the Leadership from the Future group also recommended Meredith Richards. That, frankly, was a half-truth. It was a partial truth, and it was misleading. They did, in fact, recommend Meredith Richards, but not for chair. They recommended her for a different position on the board. And so I got called out almost immediately by Bill Hutchison last night. And Hutch, I hemmed and hawed, I admit it, but Hutch was right. That was dishonest. It was not an accurate representation of what they said. And so, for the record, I'm going to read exactly their words. It says, although not part of our candidate slate, we recommend Cliff Dunn for secretary and Meredith Richards for vice chair. So, for that, I apologize to the Leadership from the Future group. As much as I disagree with you, you deserve to have an honest representation of your views, and that was not that. I pride myself on my honesty, and that was candidly dishonest. It was a lapse of judgment on my part, and for that I truly apologize. I also apologize to Meredith Richards. I don't want my lapse of judgment to reflect poorly on her, and I apologize especially to all of you, because you deserve honesty in all of this. And so I wanted to set the record straight on that. Why did I have that lapse of judgment? Frankly, I let my anger get the better of me. I was mad. This board and staff have spent the last several years working their tails off, busting their butts to deliver big wins. I said this isn't the video I originally was going to make. I was originally going to talk once again about all of our wins, all the things we've achieved over the last couple of years. But you've heard about them ad nauseum by now. If you don't know, you're not paying attention, because everybody's been talking about that. But I have to say, when the campaigning started and it led off with an email that was dismissive of all of those wins and just spent its time harping on all the ways in which they believed the staff and the leadership fell short, yeah, I was mad. When I saw people whipping up controversy over a loan that never happened, especially, that made me mad, especially when some of the people that were actually spreading that controversy and fanning those flames were involved in the process and know that there was no loan ever given. Those people are deliberately misrepresenting a penalty that was imposed by the board as if it were a loan to stir up controversy. And some of them know that. Some of them were involved in imposing the penalty. And so that made me mad. When I see people rushing to the defense of someone who's been credibly accused of bullying and harassment and verbally abusive behavior toward volunteers and staff, and with zero regard for the victims of that abuse, harassment, and bullying, and arguing that he should be let off on a technicality, that made me mad. Candidly, pardon my language, it pissed me off. So there was that clouded my judgment. And again, for that, I'm sorry. But I do still firmly believe that what the staff has done has been incredible over these past 2 years. You've heard about it. $66 billion, guaranteed minimum of $16 billion for the national network. An onboard service roundtable group, focus group, to try and improve the onboard service, including food and beverage, return of traditional dining. All of these things we did we've delivered over the past 2 years, while balancing the budget in the midst of a global pandemic that had terrible effects on the economy. And so to see the staff's achievements minimized and trivialized like that, yes, I got mad. Those cuts to balance the budget did not come without pain. We initially lost our office manager. Then we had to let our director of operations or VP of operations go. Then in 2020, our membership manager resigned, and the board decided there wasn't enough money to hire a replacement because priority one was keeping the budget balanced. We're not throwing money out the door. We're not spending money willy-nilly. We had to make very real cuts, painful cuts, to get that budget balanced. And yeah, some things have suffered. Membership renewals, we have not given up on membership. That's a myth. Membership renewals, lapsed members are called by volunteers now rather than having a full-time on-staff membership manager. So that is set back. Our meetings are not what they used to be, because now, in the past, our meetings used to consistently lose money, thousands, often tens of thousands of dollars that we would lose every time we held an in-person meeting. So now we're down to one a year, and they're not as nice as perhaps as they once were. But this was all done in the name of cutting costs and getting the budget balanced. I would love to start to returning some of those things that we used to do. I would love to be able to do the fall meeting again, but not until we find the money for it, not until the budget is there to do it. I would love to have a full-time membership manager on staff. We don't have the budget to do that right now. We need to find it. I would love to bring back summer by rail, but not if we can't pay for it. Not if we'd have to go do more deficit spending to do it. So these are all things I would like to do. I spent the better part of the last 2 years as the chair of the membership subcommittee. I've tried to do things to help stem the tide of declining memberships. A trend, by the way, that was already well underway in 2013 when the Williams-Whittle report came out, and predates even Jim Matthews' arrival here. This is a long-term trend that's proven very, very challenging to reverse. On that committee, we toyed up with various ways to do that. We've talked about, I fought for and won the return of the popular Amtrak Guest Rewards program, where we're actually giving points to members who want them for their membership dues. That came back in an economically sustainable way, unlike the previous program, which was costing us far too much money. I have fought for, and so far not been able to get, lower dollar memberships. I gave presentations to both the membership subcommittee and the DEI committee about the need to have a $5 or $10 basic membership, because that's one of the biggest hurdles that we keep hearing about why younger members, more diverse members can't get in. Our cost of entry is too high. I've also argued that we should probably look at dropping the cost of the individual and the senior memberships. I think those are too high as entry-level memberships. The problem is, if we do that, that potentially reduces our revenue even further, especially if those changes fail to attract enough new members to cover the cost difference. So it's a tough nut to crack, but it's one we've absolutely been working on. No, we haven't given up on. What we have said, and what is absolutely true, is that membership trends are generally downward across nonprofits and across volunteer agencies. People will donate, they're less eager to join. And so that doesn't mean you give up on membership. It means you get more creative about membership, but it does mean that you don't count on membership as your primary source of revenue. You have to find revenue streams elsewhere. When John Z came on board as our fundraiser in 2019, in that year, we had about $250,000 in donations, most of them in the latter part of the year. In 2021, that was up over $600,000. Over $600,000. So like 2.5 times almost the donations that we had just 2 years earlier. And almost all of these are small donations. I think the average donation is under $100, and the median donation is probably under $50. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it's in that neighborhood. So, this has been an excellent job. While we haven't been attracting members, we have indeed been attracting donors. And, that trend is likely to continue, and we should not give up on that. Yes, we're continuing to seek out grant opportunities. The problem there is that because our membership is not diverse, grant awarding agencies look at our membership and say, no, it's too monolithic, it's not diverse enough. This is not an association we want to give a grant to. We don't even get a second look most of the time. So it's crucial that we do what we can to attract younger members, more women, more people of color, because right now we're almost exclusively a group of aging white men, and that's not attractive to grant agencies. That's what we need to fix. But when all the cuts had to happen, our priority was always on policy and always on getting the policy wins. And I stand by that. I think that was the right thing to do. The IIJA proves it. we've got influence and access that we've never had before. And no, we haven't had to sell our soul and cuddle up to Amtrak or do anything like that. Yes, we've had to be calm and rational and reasonable. We can't go in there pounding on the table. We can't have torches and pitchforks, but it works. We're listened to. Regulators come to get our opinions. Policymakers, members of Congress seek us out for our opinions, and that's because we're not the angry guy in the corner shaking his fist and yelling and screaming. We're come to be viewed as a rational policy organization, and I would love to see us continue building on that. That doesn't mean giving up on members. That doesn't mean becoming a corporate think tank or anything like that. I assure you, my priority is always on the riders of the trains. Everyone who rides the trains, not just people who've joined us, not just our members who ride, everybody who rides Amtrak trains, Brightline, Texas Central when it opens, any commuter rail agency that is out there. Anybody who's riding the rails is somebody we care about and we want to fight for. And the best way to do that is to have that strong policy presence that we've built over the past 5 years. It would be a shame to throw all of that away right now. So that's why I'm asking for your support for myself, for the other people that I have endorsed. But even if you don't agree with me, I repeat this again, I want to reiterate it. Meredith Richards and I have not always agreed, and that's a good thing. She is someone I truly believe can help bridge the divide, because we're clearly an association divided right now. We have two camps about how we should be moving forward, and it's highly polarized, and that's not healthy for the association. If one side wins and the other side loses, and that's the end of that, I don't think that works. I think we have to find ways to bridge some of those gaps. We have to give more outlets. We've worked hard in the DEI committee to try and find ways to engage new and different people, and we need to continue doing that. But policy will always come first, and the proof is in the pudding, as I said. So again, I apologize for my lapse of judgment, but I do stand firm in my beliefs. I'm happy to talk with any of you in Alexandria. I'm heading there this afternoon. I'm happy to talk with any of you if you want to hear what I have to say in more detail about any of the issues that you've seen flying around. I'm happy to go over them to the extent that I can without violating confidentiality agreements, which I should be able to explain most of it. Please seek me out. And whatever happens on Tuesday, I just hope the association ends off better for it. Thanks for listening. I hope I have your support. Even if I don't, please support Meredith Richards, and please support a stronger, better Rail Passengers Association moving forward. Thank you.